Good morning, Larry Smith. This is Bob Gorley with episode 114. How are you today?
I am fine, Bob.
Good. Growing up in Reimersburg, Pennsylvania, what sparked your interest in cars? And were there any early experiences shape your path?
I always had a love for cars ever since I was a young kid. So it wasn't hard for me to get into the car business when I was 18, 19 years old.
And was your dad in the car business also?
No, coal miner.
Coal miner. Okay. You graduated from Union High School in 1961
That's right, 1961.
and started working. And what did you do when you graduated from high school? What did you start
I
working?
actually went to work with my dad. He was a carpenter.
Okay. And what was it like working with your father?
It wasn't good because I got all the hard jobs. Mixing cement, lugging blocks, putting roofs on.
Isn't that what a father's supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were getting it. What was Reimersburg like 60 years ago?
60 years ago.
Or, yes, when you graduated from high school, what was it like here?
It was just a small town and everybody supported it, lived in the area.
Has it grown or shrunk any in that time?
Oh, it's grown.
It's grown?
Yeah.
All right. And then you founded Smith's Auto Sales 60 years ago? You started the business about 60 years ago?
Yeah, about 60 years ago.
And it's grown. What's the secret to running a successful dealership for so long in a small community?
You got to get up, you got to go every day. And you can't be afraid of a little work. I still work 6 days a week.
In 2019, you were named the Pennsylvania IADA State Quality Dealer of the Year.
That's right.
And was that recognition, what did that recognition mean to you?
It meant we was at the top of our game. We actually were the top dealer of the year.
What's the most memorable car you ever sold?
Honest to God, I can't. We sold thousands and thousands of cars. The most memorable car I ever sold. That's the tough one.
Did you say you bought a motorhome once and sold it before you even used it?
Oh yeah.
That'd be an experience.
Bought a big motorhome one time and never got to use it. Sold it.
How's come you decided to take up karate in your 30s? Some people started a little earlier, you started later.
There's a little story behind that. When I was racing stock cars one time, I bumped this guy, not intentional. And him and his whole pit crew come over and tried to drag me out of the car while I still had my shoulder harness and seatbelt on. And I said, that's it right now. If I got to fight 4 or 5 guys at a time, I better have a little bit more experience than what I got. So that's why I get into it.
Okay, we'll get back to that, but starting with racing, what was the earliest racing experience you remember?
I was probably about 20, and I bought a new XLCH first year they come out, and started drag racing it on dirt and blacktop, and did some circle tracks with it.
Is this a motorcycle?
Yeah, it's a motorcycle.
And what size would that motorcycle be?
A 900 cc.
So it's a big one.
Yeah, fast one.
And you never raced anything before that?
No.
Okay, so you started and you were racing like drag racing, and you're also...
Scramble.
And where would you do that at?
We did it, the blacktop was at Sunset Riders in Mercer,
Okay.
and the dirt track was in Buena Vista in Butler.
And the one in Mercer, was it a straight, or was it an oval, or what type of racing?
It was a straight track.
It was just a drag strip.
Just a drag strip, yeah.
Okay, but the one in Butler was an oval.
Dirt.
A dirt.
It was an oval. We did scrambling on like an oval track, and the drag racing was done on dirt.
Okay, the drag racing, how fast would you go in the drag racing?
On dirt, you'd probably get up to 100.
Okay, and then on your oval, when you're racing in Butler, how fast would you go on that
You're
round?
not going that fast, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour.
And how many other participants would be in those races?
On the drag race, there would probably be about 30 competitors there at night. And on the oval track, there'd probably be about 40.
And you won some of those races,
Oh, yeah, one all the time.
okay? Back over to karate. How did your karate training influence other areas of your life?
How did it affect my life?
Yeah.
It made me a little more mild-mannered.
All right. So it calmed you down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And did you like your dojo?
Oh, yeah. I had several of them.
And any particular moments or achievements in your karate career?
There was one particular moment I'll never forget. We had a guy from Ford City, wanted his black belt bad, and he had been taking it for about 5, 6 years, but there was a few things he wasn't good at, but he would ask me printer every Wednesday night, when do I get my black belt? So one night we're walking out, we're going to Mike's bar across the street. He said, hey, I forgot to ask you tonight, when do I get my black belt? I said, as soon as you can do an inside crescent kick over that parking meter, I'll give you your black belt. So the whole class was there. So he spit in his hand and rubbed his hands together and backed up, took a whack at it and caught his foot on the parking meter, and down he went on the ground. Of course, that was hilarious. We stood around and laughed for about 10 minutes, couldn't get over that. But he never asked me when he was going to get his black belt after that.
Okay, back over to racing then. Motorcycle racing is a high adrenaline sport. What do you think drew you to that? Like, why did you decide you wanted to
All my life, it was just about excitement.
get? Okay. Can you tell us about a standout moment for your motorcycle racing days?
The old guy's, he's in a nursing home now, but him and I was scrambling on the same track. And I caught up to him. He wasn't going as fast as I was. I caught up to him, and I passed him on a turn and bumped him a little bit, and he went sideways. And he told me after we get done with the race, he came over and he said, you cheated. I said, I didn't cheat. You got to get out of my road. That was one of my memorable moments.
How did the skills or mindset from motorcycle racing translate to other parts of your life, like your dealership or tackling other sports? Like,
What was that again?
how did the skills and mindset from your motorcycle racing help you with either the auto business or your other sports?
Like I said, I was always active, and it didn't take me much to pick up the different things that I did. Stock car racing and ATV racing, they just fell into line.
As a national six-wheel ATV rider, you've competed in a unique and rugged sport. What got you into the ATV racing?
The love for racing did, and I went to one race and watched it, and I thought, I'm going to try that. So I tried it, and I ended up winning, and from there on it just skyrocketed to where I actually raced for the factory.
And they gave you, the ATV company gave you 1 or 2 vehicles to race?
4.
4.
Give me 4, yeah.
And what was the most intense or exciting ATV event you participated in?
When we decided to beat the factory and build our own machine right here in the shop, we built the first independent suspended 6-wheeler that was ever made. We built it right here.
And where did you do the race at?
We did it at Astabule, Ohio.
And how many other ATVs were in that?
Oh, there was ATVs there was probably in that one class alone there'd be about 20, 25.
And how long a race is one of those 6-wheelers?
10 laps.
10 laps. And a lap would be like half of a mile?
Quarter mile.
Quarter mile. So you did 10 quarter miles. And did the ATVs, those Are they even in existence anymore?
Not that I know of. They probably are, but I'm not aware of it since I don't participate in it anymore.
I haven't seen any six-wheelers for a
Long
long
time.
time.
Long time.
Okay, and then after, so you went from motorcycling to ATV, then you went to stock car racing.
Yeah.
And what classifies as a stock car?
You have to have an inspection done on it before you race, so they have a 5 or 6 point roll bar. You have to have a seat that's bolted in, and you have to have a shoulder harness and safety on.
And the engines can be, you can modify the engines any way you want to?
Back then you could, yeah.
And like how many horsepower would your stock car?
We had one of, they estimated it to be 1,000 horse.
And where did you do your stock car racing at?
At Lernersville Speedway, Tri-City Speedway, Motor Dome, and Raceway 7 in Ohio.
And how long were those tracks?
They were, Clearfield was a half mile. Ville, I believe it was a half mile. And Raceway 7 was probably a half mile.
Were they dirt tracks?
Dirt tracks.
Dirt tracks. And how long did you stock car race?
About 10 years.
And what was your favorite memory from stock car racing?
I sold a car to a boy, and he had his whole family there to races, but he asked me before, he asked me if I'd come and drive it at that race. And he said, "No, I'm not telling my family, they won't know that I'm not in it," because they was again buying it. And he said, "It's a winner and I want to buy it." So he asked me if I'd drive it. So I took one of my karate students that night. He wanted to go up, and we went up. I drove his car, and we finished second with it and walked off the track and never turned around and looked after that. It was done. But he called me later and said, "My family never knew it, so don't say anything."
How did the stock car racing evolve in Pennsylvania during your years, like in that 10 years that you were there? Did they change what you're allowed to do with your stock car?
Not in the time I was racing. It was all the same, except for the change in the rear ends. If you run a late model, you was allowed to have a quick change. So we run 2 cars, and we had semi-late, it had a floater in it, and the late model had a quick change.
Running a business while pursuing high-octane hobbies like racing and karate is not easy to balance. How did you do that?
To support my habit, I had to work extra hours in here, so he did. That's exactly the way it was.
Were there ever moments when your love for racing or martial arts clashed with running a dealership?
No.
As an avid big game hunter, how did hunting fit into your busy life?
Hunting comes probably first. I would probably quit working before I'd quit hunting. You know how I feel about hunting.
And how long have you been going out west to hunt?
About 30 years.
And how long ago did you get that property out west?
We've had it about 12, 14 years now.
So you went out for years or so before you just went hunting.
Yeah, I did. I went out about, I'd say a good 10, 12 years. And I knew so much of the area. One of the old residents back in Colorado said, you ought to start guiding, get your outfitter's license and guide. I said, no, I never would do that. But I went home and thought about it. So I applied, but they turned me down. So I applied the second time, they turned me down. I applied the third time, they turned me down. So I wrote them a letter and told them I was going to talk to the governor about it and see why a guy from Pennsylvania can't get an outfitter's license. So the next year I got them, and then they fined me for everything that they could fine me for. And the last time I paid a fine, said, you can fine me as many times you want to, but I'm bullheaded and I'm going to stay. So they quit fining me, and I outfitted them for the next 15 years.
So they treated you as an outsider for a good while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
At 83, you've lived a life full of adventure and achievement. What's the one accomplishment that you're most proud of in business, sports, or personal? What's one of your highlights so far in your life?
I would say just raising my family is probably one of the biggest highlights.
And how many children do you have?
I have 4 sons and 2 stepdaughters.
And what advice would you give young entrepreneurs in small towns like Rammersburg in starting a business?
If they want to start a business, they'd have to work at it. You got to get up out of bed in the morning and go to work.
Hard work makes for success, or
Yeah.
a chance for success.
Yeah, correct.
If you could race any vehicle one more time, what would it be?
I would say if I was allowed to race any vehicle and it was legal, I would race that Tesla.
It sure has get up and go on it. However,
Yeah,
what do you think the wildest thing you've ever done in your motorcycle, ATV, or stock car that had you shaking your head?
oh man, there's so many. There's so many things that I've done. I've had some exciting moments, but in racing motorcycles, stock car. Yeah, I tore a stock car pretty near clean in half one night. The drive shaft come loose and they forgot to put the safety chain on it here when I was working on it. And it went into the ground, dropped off, went in the ground. And of course it just instantly tore the car in half. It tore the whole back end clean off it. And there I was sitting in the middle of the racetrack in a half a car.
How fast were you going when that happened?
Oh, I was probably going on the back straightaway. It was almost to the end of it, probably 90 miles an hour.
Oh boy. Did you ever get any serious injuries from any of your racing?
I had a stock car accident where I ended up in the back of an ambulance, but I didn't want to go to the hospital. They thought I broke my neck. I wrecked down at Lernersville. The guy bumped me and I hit the main wall head on and knocked me out for a little while, but I didn't go to the hospital. I went home with a sore neck for a few days. But I've had some accidents, but none that I really got hurt.
Speaking of medical stuff like that, you said once you met an elderly lady that was very robust, and you asked her what her secret was, and she told you.
She said, I take vitamin E. I have ever since I was 18 years old, and she was like 98 then.
Okay.
And I went home, and probably the same day, I went and got vitamin E, and I have never missed a day in my entire life since then.
Just to be specific, some people, that vitamin E, there's a lot of people take vitamin D, as in dog, but this is vitamin E as in egg.
Like an egg, yeah.
So
Vitamin
you take
E.
Vitamin E.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any new adventures that you're thinking about?
Not really. We vacation about 4 times a year, and in a couple of weeks we'll be going to Colorado again, and that's an adventure every time we go out.
How many people will be going out with you to Colorado this time?
There'll be 4 of us.
4. Has your wife ever been out?
She was out once and seen a mouse and said she would never go back.
That wasn't her.
Yeah.
That wasn't her.
No, that wasn't her thing.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or pass on to?
Anything else I'd like to discuss? That I'm probably at my age right now, I've probably met more people that I like just doing what I'm doing. It's just, we're having a good time. We play poker about 3 nights a week, and I like it about as much as anything I've ever done.
Thank you very much for this interview, and if things went right, I appreciate it.
Good, thank you.